Hello everyone, Charles here with MTCscreens.com. Today I've got for you the new generation of the MTC 6A. This is an LED panel retrofit kit for your existing Malibu 6.5 inch and Tige Touch 1 systems. You guys know the drill. All these boats had delamination problems causing bubbling, peeling, glue leaking, and then associated touch problems like frozen, unresponsive, random touch. Sometimes we see the backlight burned out, causing a dark display like this one here, where you can't really see anything. All those are caused from the defective LCD touch panel from the factory. So inside this, you'll see that glue peeling away, and that's really what causes these problems. So there's no need to replace the entire display unit at a cost of over $5,000 or $6,000 at the dealer. We can replace just that part with the improved design. There's no microchips or motherboard problems like you may have read online. It's just this LCD touch panel that we can get fixed up and fully tested, and you'll be on your way to having a better than new condition boat. So for Generation 2, we're converting to LED backlight for double the brightness compared to the factory design, and this is going to be noticeable when you're on the water. In addition, we've got an improved bonding method that's been fine-tuned over the last year to give you more sensitivity, easier to touch, all around better use for the boat controls. We're updating the LCD panel itself to a better, more modern design. It's a 2024 production. That way we don't have to worry about part back orders, obsolete, supply chains, all that stuff. So we're going with a modern LCD panel, and we're alleviating a lot of problems with that design choice. In addition, we've got a nice box packaging here. This is a late release, so if you order early, you might not have this one. It might be a cardboard one, but we have this special packaging on the way. And then we're adding some tools that were important for the installation. It all comes in the box here, the nice metal scraper, the pry tool to help remove the glue, kind of a one-stop shop. 3 options. You can mail your unit in, we'll replace it and send it back. You can order just the panel and install it yourself here. We'll show you how to do it next. Or you can order a refurbished unit with a new touchscreen and LCD panel already installed and just send your core back with the provided return label. All right, for do-it-yourself option, you'll need a heat gun or a heat plate, a T10 Torx driver, safety glasses, latex gloves, isopropyl alcohol, paper towels, and of course the Gen 2.0 LED retrofit kit from MTCscreens.com. And standard disclaimer, if you feel uncomfortable or nervous after watching this upcoming do-it-yourself video, don't take the risk. Just use our mail-in service. It's only a few $100s more, and we'll fix your unit up without any damage or injury to yourself. All right, today we're working on a customer's wake setter boat, a Malibu wake setter. This unit, of course, has the common delamination, and we're going to show you how to pop that LCD panel off and replace it with our new updated Generation 2.0 version. Here you can see a similar model that we removed earlier. It's the old compact fluorescent design, it's the outdated LCD, all that's getting replaced with our new retrofit kit. So let's do what's in the box. Again, if you order before 2024, you may receive a cardboard box, but it has all the same contents. This new design is in production now and should be released in the next couple months. Let's take a look at what you get. First off, it's the new 3D printed spacer backlight driver assembly with wiring. You have a MTC Screens quality control sticker after testing. The new updated LCD panel with touch screen attached with the new bonding method. We have a new video cable, and then a couple tools that are commonly used, the metal scraper as well as the blue glue removal tool, and then of course 2 black nylon washers that are going to be used to secure your backlight driver to your housing. Alright, now let's gather up the required supplies to complete the installation. You'll need some isopropyl alcohol. I recommend the 91%. Smaller or less percent will work, but it's not quite as effective at removing the glue. Latex gloves, some paper towels, safety glasses, and then a small cup or liquid holder, as you see there, to hold the isopropyl alcohol. A T10 Torx bit. You can use a hand screwdriver with that bit on it, the Torx bit if you need. It's a T10. And of course a heat gun or a heat plate, something that can apply heat. I don't recommend using the oven or toaster oven. It can reflow the solder, which is what we don't want. We want to apply focused heat to the outside of the glass only, and not the inside of the unit. So a heat plate or a heat gun is best. In this example, we're going to use a heat plate or a heat pad that you can find on Amazon that will basically get us to 170 degrees for about 8 minutes. That seems to be the range at which the glue softens on the tape, and we can start pulling that glass off. So if you don't have that heat plate, use your heat gun. Just kind of go around the perimeter where it's sort of black, the black masking there, and make sure you get the perimeter nice and hot. Basically, a good rule of thumb is if you can put your finger on the glass for 2 to 3 seconds, but no more, that's probably hot enough for the glue to release. If it's not quite there, it's going to be a little bit too difficult to remove the tape. So keep heating it evenly in that area. Go all the way around and get everything nice and softened up before trying to remove it. The goal here is to not break the glass. Once the glass breaks, it becomes a mess, it's dangerous, and we just want to avoid that. It should be like cutting through, sort of like a knife through butter situation once you remove the tape. If it's not quite there, just keep heating it. I always like to dip the metal scraper tool in some isopropyl alcohol to help it slip through the tape in the glass. The most important part of this process here is to have patience and take it slow. Go in steps. Loosen a little bit at a time. If it's tight or it's hard to go through, add more isopropyl, add more heat. That's going to really prevent you from cracking the glass and creating a big dangerous mess, hazard there. So take it slow. If it's slicing through like it should be in this video, you're on the right track. But obviously, use common sense. We're dealing with glass that could break. It's thin. So the objective, again, is to get the glass off in one piece without cracking. It's not the end of the world if it cracks, but it's best avoided through patience and following this method. All right, now that the tape has released its bond, you can pull away the side with the white cable on it and then just pop that cable loose from the driver there, and just tilt the LCD over from the side. You can use your little metal tool to pop loose the Digitizer connection lock. It has 2 ends to it, and you basically just got to click those away from the housing and it will unlock. It's kind of a snap feature. Doesn't take much pressure at all. Just click left and right side, pull the Digitizer out, and then you're good there. Next up, we're going to want to remove the backlight pink and white wires. Those are friction only. They pop loose of the inverter. Sometimes there's a cable retention plastic hook there. Obviously unfasten those from the hook and free up that cable. So now that the LCD panel is free, we can move on to the next step, which is essentially discard the LCD. We're not going to be reusing that. We can see all that glue that leaked out on the factory unit. All this stuff is scrap. We have no reason to reuse any of that stuff. So moving on to the tape, I find that this method works if the tape is still pretty hot. Pull it, and it will release without making a mess. Sometimes the tape is really sticky and it's hard to remove, but I'd say 90% of the time it comes off just like this, where you can stretch it and keep looping it around, pulling it off cleanly as shown here. That's the goal. Sometimes, again, it takes longer, but this is the average. This is the most common. Now is a good time to remove the excess glue on the bottom of the housing. Some units have more than others. You don't need to be perfect here and get everything, but any excess, any extra amount that kind of collects on that scraper is good to remove right now. All right, now you can use your paper towel dipped in some isopropyl alcohol to go around and remove all the glue residue from that tape surface. We're going to install new VHB tape there, so having it as clean as possible will ensure the best bond. I try to go over a few times. The isopropyl seems to soften the glue, but it takes a minute or two to kind of start working, so go around the perimeter. If you come into any stubborn spots where the glue is really sticky, and that works a little bit more effectively than the isopropyl with paper towel. It's a bit more rigid, so just keep kind of working at that until it's nice and clean and dried off, and then we're able to continue on. All right, now you can use your T10 bit driver to remove the screws that hold the motherboard to the housing. Those come off really easily. We're going to reuse these screws, so make sure you hang on to them. On some Tige boats, it has a yellow video cable. You can push that from the back side. There's a grommet that it can get kind of sticky on, but push it through the back side if it gets held up, and then pull the motherboard away from that white cable as shown. And then the T10 screws that hold the backlight inverter, we're going to reuse those as well. So pull those off. We can scrap the backlight inverter out. That thing is obsolete at this point. And we're going to mount the new LED driver with the attached spacer right in that place. So with the screws that we just removed, add the nylon washer to those screws with a T10 bit, and then install it in the exact same spot as you see here. Make sure the rainbow cable is on the left side, just like in the photos. So with your main plug at the bottom, the main plug to the boat at the bottom, make sure your rainbow is facing on the left side. We'll reconnect the motherboard to the rainbow cable. This is a one-way cable, so make sure the red wiring is at the top, just like we see here, and you can kind of see the metal pins. That's the orientation you want to start with. It's just a friction fit, so once it's lined up, just push it in until it kind of clicks into place. That's fully installed right there. Now we can unlock the original video white cable, same way as before, where it has the 2 clicks to release it. The ribbon cable pulls out, and that thing is scrap as well at this point. Now you can tuck the excess cable from the rainbow cable underneath the unit. We're really just trying to get it out of the way of the screw holes so it doesn't pinch it. So whatever you can do to get it there. Install the new motherboard, make sure it goes through its holes like that, otherwise it could bend them. And just an extra tip for Tige owners, you can use some isopropyl on the yellow plug to help it slip through the rubber grommet on the housing. Take a quick look and make sure that there's no cables pinching there, and then you can retighten the 4 T10 screws. Again, no need to over tighten these screws. We're going into plastic. As long as the screw touches the motherboard, we're good to go. No need to over torque it at all. Just hand tight at most. All right, so now we're going to take the new orange video cable that came in the kit. You'll notice one end has a notch on it. Insert that as shown here with the gold pins up facing you. And this, you'll want to make sure it goes in all the way to where almost all of the gold pin is fully in the connector. Hold it in place with one hand and lock the connector with the other hand, just like shown. It should be perfectly straight, just like you see there. Fully inserted, that's how you know you got a good connection. Now you can use your box to essentially create a platform or a table to rest the LCD on while you connect the cables in the next step. So with the LCD resting on your little platform, remove the protective tape from the Digitizer orange cable, just like that. And then unlock the Digitizer connection. It just clicks away from the white housing, just like that. Make sure it's unlocked. Take your Digitizer cable and insert it, just like it's shown here. This is just like the other ribbon cables, where it's important to get it fully seated and fully straight and prevent pulling on it after it's locked in place to prevent any lost connection. So hold it in place with one hand, use your other hand to lock it in there. It should be straight, lined up just like that. And then from this point on, avoid pulling on it to prevent from pulling out of the connector when it's locked. Now let's take a look at the new LCD video connection. You can see how this works. It kind of toggles down, is locked, up, pivot to unlock it. So in the 90-degree position where that little lock is tilted towards you, that's unlocked. So we'll have a look here, make sure the connections haven't moved, make sure everything's straight, and we'll start with the red and black LED power connection. This only goes in one way. The empty connectors should be facing on the right side, just like shown here, and the black, red, black on the left side. Just get it right in that connector, and it's friction only. It kind of clicks right into place there, and that's all you have to do for that one. Next up, we'll want to make sure the video connector is unlocked, as we talked about before. Like you can see, this doesn't go in too far, but insert the other end of that video cable in place. Hold it in place with one hand, use your other hand to lock it flat just like that, and you're good. Gently tug it to make sure it's in place, and that's all there is to it. So now we want to do a test fit and make sure all the connections are done appropriately, and we do that by plugging your unit into your boat. However, we don't want to pull the backing tape off the tape first and really lock that in permanently, because if there's a problem with the connection, you don't want to have that locked in place. So what I always try to do is get that LCD in the housing, attach it with some Scotch tape or rubber band or painter's tape or something, just to prevent the LCD from falling out of the housing while you're testing it. Again, it's not permanently locked into place here. It's just kind of resting in the housing. So get it installed there. Avoid pinching that orange Digitizer cable. And if you have access to your boat, go ahead and plug that in with the tape holding the LCD in place so it doesn't fall out and cause damage, and test all your functionality. Touch all the zones, make sure everything is reacting as it should, make sure everything looks good. If anything's not right, go back and check your connections. And that's the beauty of not exposing that tape yet, is you have a second chance to check your connections if something wasn't done right. So with everything good, kind of hold that LCD up, as you can see here. Hold it in position, but about ½ inch above the surface, so you can access the tape backing strips. Remove those. It should be 4 of them total, and then start with the right edge, the part by the orange Digitizer cable here. Tuck that orange cable in so it doesn't get pinched in your newly exposed tape, and then drop the right edge of the glass on the right edge of the housing. It should be totally straight, totally flush with it. Check your connections and then drop the whole thing in there. You can press down the perimeter to seal up that new high bond water resistant tape, and you're all set. The unit's tested, fully installed, good to go. You can apply that sticker, the MTC Screens Quality Tested sticker, and we can have a look at the new non-delaminated glass and know that this problem is fixed permanently. If you have any extra glue around the edge, you can remove it with the isopropyl alcohol and a paper towel. and we can take a look at the nice new bright anti-glare screen. All right, congratulations on the installation. If you like our product and service, please tell your friends with boats, post on the forums, talk to the marina that there is an option to fix these units instead of replacing them at a much higher cost. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call or email charles@mtcscreens.com. Thanks for watching.